That's how I take the laugh. And most people got to laugh like that. But hey, I respect your opinion. Tiffany writes, Bernie knows how powerful the NRA is. Going after them is career suicide. Yeah, not many people are willing to step up to the NRA. Not many people. And that's why I thought it was refreshing when P.G. Sinfield was calling out and bringing things to attention about, if you live in the state of Ohio, that's right. And I still would take Strickland over Portman any day. But I'm very, very troubled by Strickland's, and I'm glad that Sinfield brought that out. I'm very troubled by Strickland's very cozy relationship with the National Rifle Association. The reason why is because one of the major issues, and I believe it's a health issue, one of the major issues we're dealing with is the proliferation of guns, right? And how that impacts the violence that we see on a regular basis. And like I told you before, I'm a big Second Amendment guy. Listen, look what happened to Will Smith, not the actor, the former football player from New Orleans Saints. You have every right to carry a weapon. You should have a weapon in your home, responsibly, with gun locks. Why? Especially if you got a family, because anything can happen. But we need to have some common sense safeguards put in place as well, as much as we can, so it doesn't trample on honest, right, citizens' ability to protect themselves. And I think there's a lot we can do. I do not believe in a slippery slope. Like, oh, if we close the gun show loophole, they're coming after all our guns, Bubba. No, they're not. Stop it. They're not. If we close the internet loophole, they're going to confiscate. Obama's going to confiscate all of my guns. What am I going to do? You got more guns than you do have stock investments for your future retirement. I mean, come on, be smart out here, people. Be smart out here. Terrence writes, Nate, now he's saying that he wants to repeal the gun law but keeps parts of the bill. Sounds like everyone is just saying anything. Yeah, that was a bad idea. But again, maybe there were elements of that bill that immunized the gun manufacturers back in 2005 that have had a positive impact. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I don't know all the elements of the bill. Have I read parts of it? Yes, I sure have. I don't remember all of it because that was many years ago. But perhaps there are things that attracted Bernie Sanders. To me, it never made sense. Never made sense. Good morning, Wanda. Good to see you. Everett writes, yep, I'm supporting the Barbershop movie tonight. Yeah, that's right. It's tonight it comes out. And I think that I like the Barbershop series. I really do. I do. And the one thing I like about it is they have a moral at the end of every movie, right? That seems to be like family and community based. We need more of that. I hope it's funny, okay? Because I want to be entertained when I see it. But for me, Barbershop is one of those movies that I'll go see even if I haven't, read the review from a critic, because Ice Cube's involved with it, and Ice Cube he always does great work. I mean, you talk about a talented individual, man. Shout out to Ice Cube. You go from NWA, okay? His albums early on, he told America all about herself, didn't he? And now he's transformed into a producer, a director. He's making family. How is Ice Cube from NWA, Niggas with attitude, now making family movies? And he's good at it. Here's another series. Are we there yet? I don't think that Ice Cube gets the props that he deserves. I really don't. Ice Cube does not get the props that he deserves as a talent. Okay, he's a very talented man, highly motivated. I'm not just talking about, just take NWA out of it. I mean, think about all the great movies, the Friday series. That's some good stuff. That's a part of black culture. I mean, there'll never be another series as good as that. The First Friday, man, listen, that is great stuff right there. He knows good talent, too. He knows great talent. I mean, he's worked with all of them. See, that's the power of Ice Cube. He understands, he can isolate, he can identify, isolate, and he knows how to deliver good content to talent. I mean, think about it. Chris Tucker, Mike Epps, Kevin Hart. He's worked with all of them. All the top, comics in the game for the last 20 years. So he's got the Friday series, which I hope they make another one. It's got to be right, though. Pimp Down. Remember that? It's good stuff. Where you going, new booty? Remember that? That's hilarious. Don't get me started here, okay? I'm trying to be serious. But what else here? Are We There Yet? I think they've got like a couple of those movies. Family Fun. He's like hooked up with Nia Long. Yes, buddy. Hooked up with Nia Long. And he's like the stepdaddy with the kids. They kind of like him. They kind of don't like him. Okay. There's some good stuff, man. Shout out to Ice Cube. And now the barbershop movies. Okay. Who hasn't gone to the barbershop? Okay, who hasn't gotten into an argument or played chess or whatever, mix it up with the fellas in the barbershop? And he's accurately captured that feeling. And from what I'm reading, there's some really heavy themes in the movie that I think are very relevant about violence and just youth development. Shout out to Ice Cube, man. Kenny writes, hell nah. Who is Bubba? Mr. Ivey, you crack me up. I'm the Backwater Bubbas. That's what I'm talking about, the Backwater Bubbas. Brent Wentz wins the best flow of the week. Great points, Brent. Yes, Brent is on point. Kenny writes, Evelyn Lozada was her name, Mr. Ivey. That's right. I have so many gold diggers out here. It's hard for me to keep their names. My gold digger file on my brain is huge. Yes, Evelyn Lozada. And I wish her the best. I mean, I don't have any insights about her. But yeah, from what I saw that bruise on her forehead. If Chad did it, he was wrong. He was absolutely wrong. If that was my daughter, Chad's got a problem. Serious. You know, what you do to my children, I'm going to do to you, period. That's just how it rolls. And, I mean, he must have headbutted the hell out of her. I mean, we all know that Chad had a hard head, but man, wow. I'm not down with the domestic violence no more. Nah. Brent writes, I'm on the fence about the issue, Nate. The manufacturer isn't responsible for who buys the product. Their purpose is profit. The basic premise of supply and demand has to be respected. Don't like the way things are panning out. Boycott and don't buy weapons and make registration requirements stricter. A conservative court would never uphold a suit against the Second Amendment because they are pro-business in the United States. Yeah, he says, thus Citizens United. Yeah, like I said, that bill that immunized the gun manufacturers, my question is, why do they get immunized? If that's the case, then why don't you immunize any industry and insulate them from civil lawsuits? That's what we have the courts for, Brent. That's why you have judges and lawyers, evidence, a trial, a jury. Let the people, let the process decide whether the gun manufacturers are responsible. That's what I'm saying. And if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. If you're immunizing gun manufacturers because of the impact that their product is having in our community, well, then you can use that same logic to immunize any industry. Okay? Any industry. And you don't see that. So those are the questions I've always had ever since 2005, 2004, when I first got wind of it. It never made sense to me. What's so special about the gun manufacturers? I'll tell you, the NRA and their cozy relationship with the former administration, the former Bush administration. You know it's true. I mean, you can use that argument for any industry. Well, it's just profit. Yeah, but we're dealing with an epidemic of guns, an avalanche, a wave, a tsunami, a proliferation of weapons out there. And so the folks who are manufacturing need to be in the conversation about what we do, period. That's it. That's how I see it. This is more Bernie and Hillary. Check this out.
We've got to be smart about it, just the way Governor Cuomo was here in New York. If you look at it, we moved more quickly to 15 in New York City, more deliberately toward 1250 upstate, then to 15. That is exactly my position. It's a model for the nation, and that's what I will do as president. Go as quickly as possible to get to 15.
I am sure a lot of people are very surprised to learn that you supported raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour.
You know, wait a minute.
That's just not accurate.
I have stood on the debate stage with Senator Sanders 8 prior times.
Excuse me.
I have said the
Secretary,
exact same
Senator,
thing.
please.
If we can raise it to 15 in New York or Los Angeles or Seattle, let's do it.
If you're both screaming at
each other. The viewers won't be able to hear either of you,
Okay.
so please don't talk over each other. Go ahead.
All right? When this campaign began, I said that we got to end this starvation minimum wage of $7.25, raise it to $15. Secretary.
There it is. I mean, they went at it last night. And I would say that if you've got time over the weekend, even though we've already had the primary in Ohio, you can still glean more information about the candidates to help you, to inform you as you make your decision. I would tell you that if you cannot watch the debate in its entirety, it's worthy to go to places. It was on CNN, and all the clips are available on CNN, Huffington Post, and just view it for yourself. And listening to it, the audio is one thing, but, I'm a big believer in nonverbals. So it's something different when you can view someone and get that visual information. Check it out for yourself. Check it out for yourself and just make an informed decision, okay? By the time it comes back to Ohio, it would have already been decided. But even in that case, it'll give you more information about, whom you might decide to vote for. Hey, you might decide you want to go for the Republican candidate. I'm not sure who that candidate might be. Again, the most sane alternative, right? The most sane choice out of all of them appears to be Ohio Governor John Kasich. I can't believe I'm saying that. But you know me, I keep it real with you. I'm not going to lie to you about anything. I keep it real with you. And again, no one man should have all that power. I'm on HuffingtonPost.com right now. They got full highlights of the debate. Brutal in Brooklyn. That's a great shot right there. And both of the candidates are looking like they're very into it. Again, my issue with the Democrats and the Republicans is that we need more diversity. Not just ethnic or racial diversity, but we need age diversity. They all seem like they're from the same generation. Can we have some youth? Is that too much to ask for? Again, I think that was one of the appeals of Barack Obama. And I'm convinced he was dyeing his hair, by the way. Because his hair just didn't go gray that quickly. That doesn't happen like that. Oh, they're driving him crazy. Yeah, the Republicans did, but he was dyeing his hair. I didn't know how many people dyed their hair when I was a kid. I thought you didn't get gray hair until you were in your 60s. And that was because all the people in my family around me, save the men in my family, were dyeing their hair. I had no idea. I got friends, in their 30s and 40s running around here dyeing their hair. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Now, I reserve the right to dye my hair. Okay, don't judge me. But I'm just saying, at this point, I haven't gone that far. Okay? Ain't nothing wrong with a little salt and pepper. Just be who you are. But I'm not judging you. Right? Because I don't want you judging me. I say it all the time. You see me out with the wifey, don't judge me. Okay? We don't get out a lot. Okay? We're having a good time. We family folks. Someone else writes, Evelyn Lazada. Jerica writes, during the debate, was there any mention of reparations, ? Not that I saw. Okay, I did not see it in its entirety, but I did not see that. I did not hear that question asked, so I cannot say it was or was not. Perhaps someone in the chatterati did. If so, what did you hear? Cruther writes, Kasich voted for the war in Iraq and blamed the bad intel on Colin Powell. I'll never forget that day. Colin Powell was such a patsy. I felt so bad for that brother. Remember they were at the UN and he was giving all this evidence about uranium and blah, blah, blah. It was all nothing. It was all made up. He found out later on that it was coming from some very untrustworthy sources. But, that's the United States. The flow I had back then is the same flow I have now. When this country wants to do something, she does it. And that's the same with people in general, grown folks. When a grown person wants to do something, they do it. Period. People do what's important to them. Okay, simple as that. Same thing with this country. At that particular time, the country wanted to go after Iraq. They felt like it was necessary for whatever reason. Even though Iraq had nothing to do with 9/11 at all. It was for years I was making that point, and it's taken a lot of my critics many years to come around. They're going to find it, Nate. They're going to find the weapons of mass, and they're still looking for them. It was no weapons of mass destruction. They were weapons of mass distraction. Period, point blank. Who is the Gilligan of the week?